All right, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the April 7th meeting of the Blackstone-Millville Regional School District School Committee. We are going to get started this evening with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag,
United
States of America, and to the republic for which it
which
stands,
stands
one nation,
nation,
under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
justice for all.
and introduction of members. I'll just call your name out. We'll start on my top left. Dan,
Hello, yeah, present.
Tara,
Carl Larkin, Millville.
Carrie,
Harry Goddett, Blackstone.
Tammy,
Tammy Lemieux, Blackstone.
Erin,
Erin Panaco, Millville.
Jane,
Jane Reggio, Millville.
and Matt.
Matt Aaronworth, Assistant Superintendent.
And our solo student rep, would you like to introduce yourself?
I'm Kylie from BMR. I'm from Blackstone.
Perfect. And I'm Jason DeFalco, superintendent. Would you like to start with our student rep update?
Sure. So
Not a BMR.
Yeah. We have 26 seniors with the fourth quarter intern, which starts on Monday. Softball beat Bellingham 11-0, and we had 20 strikeouts with Amber Arcan. We had a total of 21 outs that game. Baseball had their first win versus David Prouty this week. Track had their first meet today. Tennis had their first match last week. Yesterday was canceled due to the rain. Softball, baseball, and tennis are all going to Southbridge tomorrow for a 3:30 game. Sophomores are the winner of the Drama Club Penny War, and their winning was a breakfast. Juniors, sophomores have picked their classes for next year, and freshmen are in the process of doing that.
So a lot going on.
What's going on?
Yeah.
You almost lost me, I'm not gonna lie, to the track meet because it's at home. And I almost took a left to go in there, but I knew I had to get here. I wanted to see the end of it. That's great. Any questions for our rep? Anything else?
I'm just curious, Kylie, how the prom ticket sales have gone.
They've been going good. I'm not sure the total amount have been sold yet. I'm thinking maybe 20, but they're on 20 as of Tuesday, so probably like 60 today. They're on sale till next Tuesday.
Is there a minimum number we need to get to? for
I'm
the
not.
prom?
I'm not sure. I'm not really sure about that, but I know a lot of people are like already planning on going. I know we have a good amount of people coming from the school, and we have a good amount of dates coming from outside of the school.
Great. And we are able to allow outside guests, correct?
Yes, the COVID protocols have changed since we're unmasked, so we're allowed to not wear masks. It's a choice if you want to or not, and we're allowed to have outside guests.
Great.
And Kylie, we have the NHS Empty Bowl dinner coming up this week. Next
Yes,
week.
so that's on the 13th. We're raising money for the food pantry in Blackstone. All the money we get will go with ticket sales and our raffles. Each student in NHS had made their own bowl for soup and art, and we've been staying after school just trying to get all that finished, and it's getting pretty good.
Nice.
Do you know what kind of soup you're serving?
I'm not sure. I'm on the bowl committee, so I'm not sure what type of food we're having. I know we got
I know there's tomato.
That's-
Our
yeah.
other rep is making
Yeah.
it.
there's tomato. I think there's probably chicken soup. I know definitely that we were able to get good stuff to donate cornbread, so that will be exciting.
Awesome, I can't wait. Anything else? Okay, thank you so much for the update. Lots
Thank
going on
you.
for sure.
Thank you.
All right, have a good night. Hun.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye.
Next, we are going to shift to our election of officers. And in a moment, we'll entertain a motion or nominees for the chairperson. And I will gladly, whenever that is finished, hand the meeting over to the chairperson. So at this time, we will open up the floor for nominations for the office of the chairperson of the Blackstone Millville Regional School District School Committee.
I would gladly like to nominate Aaron Vanaco.
Second.
A motion was made by Jane to nominate Aaron and seconded by Tara. For chairperson of the Blackstone Millville Regional School District School Committee. And we need to have a voice vote on this, or roll call. I'll start in my top left-hand corner. Jane,
Yes.
Tara,
Yes.
Dan,
Yes.
Carrie,
Yes.
Tammy,
Yes.
and Aaron, do you get a vote?
I don't know. Yes,
Okay,
thank you.
congratulations.
Thank you. And this is the point you want me to take it over?
Yes, it is. It's all yours.
So I will open up the floor for nominations for vice chair. Jane,
I will happily nominate Tammy Lemieux.
I will
All right.
second that.
Oh, Carrie.
Tara or Carrie?
Carrie can have it.
All right, so a nomination for vice chair for Tammy Lemieux, second, made by Jane and second by Carrie. Are there any other nominations for vice chair? And we'll do a roll call vote for this as well. Tara,
Yes.
Carrie,
Yes.
Tammy,
Yes.
Dan,
Yes.
Jane.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, Tammy. And next we need a nomination for district secretary.
I nominate Tara Larkin.
Second it.
Okay, motion made by Tammy to nominate Tara Larkin for secretary, district secretary, and second by Jane. Are there any other nominations for district secretary? Okay, and roll call again. It's going to be the same order on my screen. Tara,
Yes.
you get to vote for yourself first.
8 years.
Carrie,
Yes.
thank you. Tammy,
Yes.
Dan,
Yes.
and Jane.
Yes.
Thank you very much. And almost last but not least, a nomination for district treasurer. Actually, let me just make sure that it is district treasurer, office of the district treasurer. Jane,
I nominate Carrie.
Second.
thank you. Motion made by Jane and second by Dan. Are there any other nominations for district secretary, treasurer? Sorry. Tara,
Yes.
Carrie,
Yes.
Tammy,
Oops.
Tammy.
Mute.
She's muted.
I know, I'm trying to unmute. I'm sorry. Yes,
Thank you.
I don't want you
Dan?
guys to hear me coughing.
I knew she
Dan?
was muted. I knew she was muted when the music stopped.
Yeah.
And that's a yes on my part.
Jane,
Yes.
thank you. All right. Thank you. And we just have a few more motions for process. Motion to appoint Mr. Ronald Pierre Lewis as Assistant Director Treasurer of the BMR School District School Committee for the 22-23 year. If someone could make that motion as read.
So
So
moved.
moved. Oh,
Second.
Made by Dan and second by Jane. And I'll still do roll call. Tammy,
Yes.
Tara,
Yes.
Carrie,
Yes.
Dan,
yes.
and Jane.
Yes.
Thank you
Chuck
so
has-
much.
Chuck has joined, Aaron.
All right. Hi, Chuck. Thanks for coming in. And the last motion is made to appoint Long and DePietro as the district council for BMR School District School Committee for 22-23 school year.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Jane and second by Carrie for our district council to remain as Long and DePietro. Tara,
Yes.
Carrie,
Yes.
Tammy,
Yes.
Dan,
Yes.
Jane.
Yes.
Chuck, do you want to join, to vote on that, or do you want to abstain?
Chuck just added to the chat that he has no audio at the moment, but his vote
Okay,
is yes.
all right. Thanks, Chuck. All right, and that concludes the election of officers on our agenda. Moving on, we have consent agenda A for warrants and minutes of the meeting for March 24th and the revision to February 17th minutes. Do we want to vote on those together, or does anyone want to split that up?
Is the revision to the 17th the fact that the van? What's the revision?
Can I speak to that,
Yes, please.
Aaron? Is that okay?
Sure.
Yeah, so we just added that, just for clarity purposes, the school committee was very clear that they wanted the administration to buy the van outright and not finance it. So it just that wasn't clearly outlined in the first round of the minutes. So we wanted to make sure that we captured correctly that that was the direction from the committee. We didn't want to do the finance charges, and we wanted to buy it outright. So we just added that piece. I don't think it was clear in the last one.
I'll make a
Any
motion
other
to
questions?
approve consent agenda A.
Okay, motion made by Tara. Is there a second?
Second.
Was that Tammy or Carrie?
Both.
Tammy.
Thank you. Motion made by Tara and second by Tammy to approve consent agenda A. Any discussion? And all those in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed?
I abstain.
Dan's abstaining.
Chuck says it's connecting, so.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm looking at the chat, so I'll let you know if anything
All
gets.
right. Thank you. Abstaining. Perfect. Thank you, Chuck. And moving on to public forum. Would that be in chat? Tim, is there anyone else? No.
It'd be live stream, but I don't even know if we're being live streamed.
Yeah, we can give it probably 30 seconds and I'll let you know if anyone comes in with a question.
No problem. We could always go back to if you see something come up, Tim.
Yep, we'll let you know.
All right. So should we move on to school committee items, statement of interest for the MSBA project, Jason?
Yeah, please, that'd be great. And you might be feeling a little bit of deja vu as we've already taken a vote on the submission of our statement of interest. However, as Matt and I have been working on the statement itself, there are there's a very specific framing that the Mass School Building Authority would like districts to use. And we just want to make sure that we have crossed every single T and dotted every I, and that there's no issues with any of the language in the first vote. So just to be safe, we put in our packets this evening, and we put on our agenda for action required, the actual language straight from the MSBA statement of interest document that we're working from. So we are requesting that the school committee vote the language as stated in your packet this evening. And Matt, if you want to speak to anything specifically on that, that's
Sure.
fine.
I was just going to add, there are a couple of sections that, are dependent upon what direction the district is moving in. Oh, actually, Jason, I think we will probably have to strike priority 1 from this language. I do apologize for that. In a recent review of the statement of interest, we were reviewing that we will probably, there's nothing of immediate danger that would prevent us from having the kids in the building at this point. So we will just strike priority 1. That's one of the sections that they leave to be tailored by the district. I did submit this specific language to MSBA, and I asked them if this would be the appropriate language and this would allow everything to go through, and they reviewed it and they did say that it looks fine. Striking that priority will not change any of the vote. We're not submitting priority 1 in the statement of interest. We're only submitting priority 5 and 7. And so you can just cross that out as you read it.
So our motion, Matt, should be everything that's in this squared off box on the minus priority 1.
Correct. Correct.
Would anyone like to make this motion?
You want me to read it?
Yes, please.
Read the full thing?
Yeah.
I make a motion to move forward with the statement of interest, reading, having convened in an open meeting on April 7th, 2022, prior to the SOI submission closing date, the Blackstone Millville Regional School District Committee, in accordance with its charter, bylaws, and ordinances, has voted to authorize the superintendent to submit to the Massachusetts School Building Authority the statement of interest form dated April 2022 for the Blackstone Millville Regional High School located at 175 Lincoln Street, Blackstone, Mass. 01504, which describes and explains the following deficiencies and the priority categories for which an application may be submitted to the Massachusetts School Building Authority in the future. Priority 5, replacement, renovation, or modernization of the school facility systems, such as roofs, windows, boilers, heating, and ventilation systems to increase energy conservation and decrease energy-related costs in a school facility. Priority 7, replacement of or addition to obsolete buildings in order to provide for a full range of programs consistent with state and approved local requirements. And hereby further specifically acknowledges that by submitting the statement of interest form, the Massachusetts School Building Authority in no way guarantees the acceptance or the approval of an application, the awarding of a grant, or any other funding commitment from the Massachusetts School Building Authority, or commits the Blackstone Millville Regional School District to filing an application for funding with the Massachusetts School Building Authority.
Second.
Okay, motion made by Tara as read for the submission of our statement of interest. And second by Dan. Are there any questions or discussion on the statement of interest as read? Okay, all those in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, that's unanimous for our statement of interest to MSBA. Matt, let us know once that is submitted, please, and we will sit and wait patiently.
I certainly will.
Thank you.
Making great.
Okay.
Great headway.
And the next part of our packet is to refinalize the end of this year's school calendar, the 21-22 calendar. Everyone has a copy of that. That is updated to the last day for everyone except for high school as a half day on June 22nd and a half day on June 23rd for our high school because they had a no heat day. Is that right? That's what I recall.
Yes.
And this is really just for information only, so we can share it with the community.
Oh,
I think
is June 22nd then a full day for the high school?
Yes.
And so the buses are running 4 times?
They're gonna have to run another route. Yep.
June 20th, there's no school, right? That's not highlighted.
Right.
Do we need to highlight that? That's
I can remind folks about that when I send out the update on the last day, so I can do that and put it on.
yeah,
the-
just because like May 30th Memorial Day, like that's highlighted and noted. So if we can just add that one.
Sure. I will do that.
are we going to correct that on here before we post it, Jason?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not listed in the
In the column either.
middle either.
Right.
That is new, just so everyone is aware. That is new for us this year. That's why it's missing.
No, it was we had it last year as well. It was state holiday designated last year.
It was new to our calendar though, right?
Yeah.
Right. It didn't fall.
Yeah, I think we
Didn't
finished
impact us.
last year.
Still on a weekend, on a Saturday, so it didn't.
It didn't fall on
Friday.
that day that we would have been in school.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I'll highlight that and
Sorry.
share with families tomorrow.
And our busing is already confirmed now for the 22nd and 23rd. Neil had asked me this morning, and once you voted, or put it through, I just let him know.
Does the high school have half days at the end because of exams?
No.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. So we did not need to vote on that. That was just for information. Moving on to the report of the superintendent.
Thanks, Aaron. I just have 2 brief updates for this evening. The first is I just wanted to give a status update on where we are with our strategic plan. I know that the school committee had an opportunity to meet with Carrie Purcell a couple of months ago and had a chance to really delve into what the steering committee for our new strategy has been working on. And we're excited to share that since we have had our first meeting with our students, which is really exciting. So we have joined, the students have joined our steering committee, but we are also now taking the draft of what's been done so far to a working group at the high school to get direct feedback from not just the few students that are on the steering committee, but actually to get a real good cross-section of students in grades 9 through 12 to take a good look at our strategy and really share their insight and input in terms of if they think we're on the mark or not. And I do think that's critically important. I know the school committee does too. We talked about it at a workshop because while we're certainly the ones that are trying to set the structure up for our students every day, they're really our clients and our customers, and we need to make sure that we're hitting the mark. So I'm really eager to get their feedback and hear if they think if they think we're on the right track or if there's something we're missing. Also, it's important to just, and for our new members, we'll have a chance to look at our strategy again in the spring, late spring, And then Carrie and the steering committee that have been developing the strategy will actually be, I believe it's the June 24th 23rd school committee meeting. I think it's that last day. We have a school committee meeting that evening, and they will be joining us to do a big overview with the school committee. So I'm excited about that. I know they are too. And just wanted to take a moment to give you an update in terms of the progress that has been made so far. Are there any questions on the blueprint? Okay, and then the second quick update is really just on our May 15th District of One event. We are looking for really just an opportunity to get our school community together and just have some fun and spend some time together. We're gonna have, it's a Sunday afternoon from 1 to 4. We are going to have the opportunity for some different games, activities, crafts. We're looking for and are setting up with our different student groups to run some of those different craft tables and maybe a little bit of competition and some yard games, cornhole, that kind of thing. It should be a nice afternoon, assuming the weather cooperates. Also, we're gonna look to have our band perform and some of our student athletes there doing some different sports and things with our students, and a nice kind of a cool treat, an ice cream for all of our students, all of our kids. And I know that we are working still to have some of possibly our boosters and other parent groups sponsor some tables where maybe we can sell pizza and those kinds of things and get our, just really get the community together. We're also looking forward to welcoming our fire departments and police departments. I know I've spoken with the police chiefs already. They're really excited about joining us and having some of their equipment out for the community and for the kids to see, which I know the younger kids think is really cool. So it's just going to be a nice afternoon. Really important to bring the community together, particularly after the past couple of years have been very stressful, very tense. And we really want to kind of get back to that place where, we are feeling really good about what we're doing and working together and just enjoying some time together. Tara, what did I miss? Because Tara's been a huge help, and Sarah Tasker in getting this off the ground.
I think you got it all. It's just getting those groups to get involved. And if anyone has contacts, whatever, share it and have them reach out.
Where is it happening?
At the high school from 1 to 4.
High school. Thank you.
Yep. That's an important detail. Mention where it is. And that is all I have tonight. Just a very brief update. I know the committee's probably surprised, but not too much on the agenda this evening. Thanks, Erin.
We just want to fool our new members.
Yeah. Make it feel good.
Wear pajamas. I think you're muted, Erin.
I was muted. Sorry about that. So just moving on to report of the business office. Matt, what do you have for us?
So once again, happily, I can say nothing shocking. Everything seems to be going very smoothly. The first report you have is the total revenue report. The one number that I would love to draw your attention to, and I've mentioned it before, but now we're starting to see it, is that fund code 30 in the Medicaid program on the left side. If you notice, we're currently already $90,000 over in that revenue. And I was just notified that we are receiving another administrative claim of, I believe it was in the $40,000 range. So I believe we will be, as I mentioned earlier, we're going to be over $100,000 in excess of what we had budgeted for in that Medicaid line. So that will be really helpful. Otherwise, all of the grants have been coming in. They've been getting drawn down regularly, and we've seen no issues with any of the revenue streams. Are there any questions about the revenue report?
So we'll just point out that a surplus in that line is not a negative thing. That is
Yeah.
positive.
Correct. That is a positive. Mhm. The next report you have is the general fund expenditure report. Again, things are moving pretty smoothly. We do have, as we have had, some, some areas that are in the red, particularly the maintenance of buildings and the benefits and insurance, but those they'll be covered very easily. One thing worth pointing out on the general fund expenditures is a new number that went into the red that may, start to startle people. We have our textbook line, the 2410, which is on the first side of that report. And it shows $60,000 in the red. That is because, and the professional development line as well has gone into the red a bit. That is because we've started pre-purchasing that math curriculum materials from that line. So we were authorized to do that. And so it will look as if it's going in the red because I can't change the actual budget, but we had planned to spend additional funds from that line.
So just
Similar-
important to point out, Matt, that even though there are red lines here,
Yes.
going to the back page and the total number,
Mhm.
our budget.
Actually, I'm sorry, Erin, I forget too, we have new members
Yeah.
as well. So if you look at the report, there's two different pages for the expenditure review. The first page is two-sided. It's the general fund expenditure review. It starts with the function code 1110, which is the school committee. And on the back side, it runs down to the 9400 function code. So each of those are the specific function codes that you can see what their description is. And there are some reds and there are some in the black. You can see the bottom line. If you go down to the very bottom, you'll see a separate box that says totals next to it. That's where I summarize all of the different lines that are in each group of function. So the Department of Ed refers to the 1000 series or the 2000 series or the 3000 series. And although there's a lot of different lines within those series, they view them all as the same type of expenditure. So on the bottom, I put a summary of each one of those expenditures. And you can see that the district is in a fine place. We are looking to not expend all of the budget. At the bottom right corner, you'll see in the delta, I summarize all of the changes for what was budgeted versus what we are currently projecting based on the expenditures and the encumbrances at that time. And at the very bottom of that delta line, you can see that 729, 299. That number is black right there, indicating that as a whole, the general fund budget is looking at 729,299 in the black right now. So that we're underspent right now for that amount. If you look at the summary on the totals, there is something for everyone that I just added new. I did add an additional minus $50,000. I just tried to keep it clear. The committee authorized that expenditure from E&D. There's no actual line for E&D, so it just comes out of the general fund bottom line. So in that 729, 299 that we're showing as black from what was budgeted, I removed the $50,000 because we did actually just write the check to go into our OPEB account. So it is now, I believe it is officially funded.
How exciting is that, folks?
Yeah.
There's chairs going up all over town.
Or at
This
least,
is the first-
at least in Mr. Watson's house.
Right.
Yes.
Definitely.
I'm glad to see that my financial reports are bringing so much joy to the community.
And
I think
Matt,
it
I'm
may-
sure that you'd be willing to sit down with any member and definitely the new members, understanding these function codes and the way that the totals roll are definitely a process. So anytime anyone has a question, Matt is always available. I'm sure myself and other members are happy to talk about that too. So,
And at any point, if there's, any question, feel free to email me. That's easy. But as well as Erin said, I'm happy to set up a time and I'll sit down and review everything line by line with anyone that would want to do that.
just most importantly, as long as the total number is not red, don't panic when you see the red.
I
you,
will
Matt.
definitely let people know if we're in a place where we need to be concerned. And I will say happily that in the 4 years that Dr. DeFalco and I have been working together, I've never once had to express any concern over the finances. So things have been going very smoothly. Are there any questions on the general fund expenditure report? So the second page that you'll see, and I'll go over this a little bit more thoroughly. This page is our grant fund expenditure report. And what you'll see at the very bottom, there really is the bottom line that says total expenditures of general fund and grant. If you go across that row, again, the bottom line is going to be the same as the general fund expenditure overages. The reason for that is we can't overexpend or underexpend our grants. Well, we could underexpend them, but we never will. And we cannot overexpend them. So what you might see occasionally in the grants, if you look at the Title I, like Fund Code 50, it's a little closer to the top. It's in the general entitlement grants. You'll see that the original budget was 170,610, and that currently the current available balance appears as if it's in the red. The reason for that is we can't change the budget once the budget is submitted and certified. So that's the number that we certified. However, if you look to the right of that section, you'll see a column that's labeled true dollar sign. Those true dollar sign amounts are what we've been assured that we will be receiving from those grants. So even though that Title I fund looks as if it's the current available balance is negative 21,536, that's only with respect to the 170,610 that we originally budgeted. The actual amount of our Title I grant is going to be 211,330. So it just came in higher than we originally budgeted when we certified, and we certainly will not go over that 211,330. Are there any questions regarding the grant fund expenditures? Excellent. The next report I have is just the personnel changes that I submit to the school committee for review. If anyone has questions, or we can check in with Monique and make sure that things are accurate, but I've reviewed this and the information is accurate there. And that concludes the financial reports. And so begin my facilities updates. You also, first I'll go through the facilities projects. You have the sheet in your package. The baseball and softball fields, things are still moving along. The dugout roofs have not been installed yet. We need to get to a point where we can put the cement in the ground and really make sure that the footings are stable. It hasn't been, we haven't had that availability yet. The infields, I hope people have seen them. While they're not perfect, the fields are really coming along really nicely. The infields they were York raked, like with almost like a dethatching. They were edged and then rototilled, and there's still some work that needs to be done, but everything is going as expected. And we did order some additional topsoil for the third baseline. As of that delivery date on 4/1, it was not delivered. I have to check in with Scott, and I'll have an update for the committee at the next meeting as to the condition of that. But I'm pretty confident that it should be resolved by that time. Again, tennis courts, there's really nothing new there. We're still waiting for the nighttime temperatures to remain above 50 degrees. That was surprising to us for those that are just joining us. We originally anticipated that all of the final coats would be done prior to the beginning of this season. However, the company that we were working with informed us after they started the work, they didn't feel comfortable putting on the finishing coat until the temperatures were above 50 degrees at night, because they didn't want to put a warranty on the material unless it had that proper curing process. The high school, we are looking to rebuild the one circulator pump, which we're hoping will happen shortly. There's nothing to be concerned about. We have the other pump running, which is in fine condition. Industrial burner stated that they're just looking for the replacement parts right now. As you can see, the replacement parts are going to be a few $1,000s. We are going with the rebuild from the replacement parts that we're still waiting on, because the quote for the new pump was $7,450, which really was not the limiting factor. It was the 10 to 12 weeks delivery time. So just to be safe, we're going with the repair, because the estimated time on the parts to come in is definitely shorter than the delivery time for the new pump. Last I checked, and Scott has been paying very close attention to this, we were waiting for a bearing piece to be shipped in from the company, and there's a machine factory that's local that's making some adjustments to a part. So we're hoping that that will get taken care of pretty shortly, within the next week or two. The Hartnett Middle School, we're still waiting for that one kit to arrive. I have been told that the Riverdale Plumbing is expecting it to be in, and that they should be out to the middle school soon. Again, I occasionally get told that, and then we still wait some more time, but we've been following up with them regularly. I know that Scott has been texting our representative, Micah. He owns the company. They're the company actually that installed the boilers at the complex when we went through that project. But Scott's been texting him, and we don't really have a definitive time yet. Again, everyone is aware at the middle school that there's the pothole problem at the driveway. Right now, we plan on, during April break, Scott's going to take out the plow truck, fill it up, get asphalt, and we're going to plan to repair those potholes, at least for a midterm repair. I say midterm, it should last at least through the year, until probably next winter season, when the thaw and the frost start to crack it apart again. Those potholes are not going to be permanently fixed with the asphalt repairs that we put down. That is one of the things that is on our capital improvement plan. So that group that we are convening will be looking at that and determining whether or not it's a priority, and what work we, if it's part of the work we choose to address. At MES, some of you may be aware, I think you're all aware. For those of you that are new, you may not be aware. Our fire pump failed inspection at MES. There's shouldn't really be a concern. There is a separate smaller pump that will feed at least 1 or 2 sprinkler heads in the event that there is an actual fire. However, that one pump is not enough to keep an entire sprinkler system running. So we currently have still 24-hour watch on the building, which was requested by the fire department. And we're hoping that that piece is coming in, and that should be taken care of by next week as well. On other news, I know Dr. DeFalco was recently at the Blackstone Finance Committee meeting, and he and Greg presented our short slideshow that was put together with respect to the larger master plan and the statement of interest that we just reapproved to submit. I think that went very well. Jason got some really positive feedback on the one pager that was presented, that it was thorough but concise. And there's a timeline that's on there that outlines some of the financial steps and when those steps need to be taken. And the finance committee was very appreciative of that information. Last night, I presented the same slideshow at the Millville Finance Committee. We were virtual, and it also received, positive feedback. Everyone was happy to be informed. And I informed them that if they were looking for a copy of the one pager or the slideshow, to just reach out to me and I would send an electronic copy. I haven't heard any requests for it. We went over it pretty thoroughly. I believe I spoke about it for almost 40 minutes. I don't know if Jason was that long, but I sometimes can get a little long-winded. So, but it
was
went
fun,
well.
Matt. Don't feel bad.
Okay, good. There were a lot of questions actually, and it was good because it helped clear some things up about the feasibility study and, the timeline for the feasibility study, what it entails, and a whole bunch of other things. So that concludes. No, I promised myself I was not going to do that this time. As part of the facilities report, we also have an application for facilities use from our youth soccer program. That will require action on behalf of the committee. Are there any questions on the other facilities pieces that were discussed prior to the usage form?
Yes.
Tammy has.
Tammy has a question.
Yes, Tammy.
The tennis courts, Matt.
Mhm.
I was by there. I went to watch the first match.
Mhm.
That's all going to be painted, right? It's not going to look like it does right now. That's what we're
Correct.
talking about, like
Yeah.
where you
Yeah.
have like red and green or something.
Correct.
Okay.
So right now, the cracks have an initial seal on them. And then what's going to happen once the weather is permitting, there will be another final sealing on the crack. There'll be a complete seal over the top of the entire court, and then all of the painting will take place. So everything will be sealed and repainted.
Okay. And they're like going to do that sooner rather than later, right? I know
As
we're
soon-
waiting a little bit on the weather, but we've had
Yes.
some good days.
Yes. Well,
It looks
it's
horrible. I sent a picture to Erin.
yeah.
Yeah,
The problem is it's not the one, it's not that they need one or two.
Right.
They have to be confident that at least for a week or so, the evening temperatures will remain above 50 degrees. So I have a feeling they're going to wait until we get into May. And then right at the beginning of May, probably right after break, maybe the last week in April, but potentially the first week in May. We should be at a point where we hope where we're over 50 degrees in the evening. But that's what they're waiting for.
Thank you.
Mhm.
And I'm a little confused on the circulator pump. So the first line says we're awaiting a price to rebuild the circulator pump. And then the second line says the circulated pump is obsolete and cannot purchase replacement parts. But I heard you say we're using replacement parts. Am I like have medicine head?
Oh, no, you know what? I apologize. Circulator pump. I apologize. I actually, you are correct. We are waiting for the new pump. So I do apologize for that.
I think that top line was our update last time.
It was the update last time, and it's the parts that I was speaking about. The bearing is for the MES pump.
Okay, so we're waiting for a new pump for the high school.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Mhm.
And my last question was the fire pump. This is something where I think last time we ran into something with a fire thing. We were threatened to shut down MES, et cetera, et cetera. This is something that we can keep going. There's no issues of.
Yeah.
Okay.
Correct. We've spoken
Thank you.
to Chief Laird, and he did ask that we have a 24-hour watch, and that really is for the sake of the town, for just the property. But all of the alarm systems, the heats and the sensors all work. And as I mentioned, there is a smaller pump that will operate 1 or 2 sprinkler heads at least. They just can't guarantee that the entire sprinkler system would be running off of the smaller pump. So during that time, we have a 24-hour watch in the building.
And so does the machine shop know that?
Yes.
I don't know what the cost is of that, but it doesn't sound fun.
It's not been fun. And I have to say,
Okay.
I want to thank our custodial crew who have been terrific. Scott has been really reorganizing and shuffling our people and making sure that we have all of the things that are needed to be done. We've had a lot of things that are now running on overtime. As you know, we have some of the asbestos cleaning that now needs to take place regularly at the high school. And this fire pump issue was not expected, but we have been able to staff the building 24 hours.
Okay.
Any other questions for Matt on facilities? Matt, I was just going to ask, the baseball and softball teams, since our fields are not ready, are they still on the town fields?
The baseball, the fields are pretty ready. As far as I know, the schedule has our varsity team playing on our varsity teams are playing on our fields.
Okay. So will this work be put off until after the season is over now, or will you go forward with it?
We are going to go forward with it. The topsoil it will just make the fields even better than they currently are. And then the other piece regarding the dugouts, that will be done probably on either in the evening or overtime or during the weekend when there's no kids that are on the field. We'll get some guys out there and we'll get the dugout roofs put up.
Okay, great. You said you have a facility request for us.
We do. We have a request for use by the Youth Soccer League.
So Matt, is this at a different time and dates than we just did the football one last meeting?
It is.
Because they're both the middle school and they're both the fields.
I know that we have I would have to confirm that. I'd have to check the calendar, but this did go through the school buildings, and the admin assistants at the buildings have that comprehensive calendar of what's going in where. So I can say I am fairly certain that this was reviewed it was signed off by the building, so it should be okay. But I can double check and and get
Thank you.
back.
So I would make a motion to approve the application pending no conflict with the football league.
I have the football league paperwork. It looks like there's a conflict.
Yep.
So
I'm
the
not sure
football-
that they need the same area. I'm not, I
There's
need
only
to-
one field there, Matt.
Yeah,
And
it
middle
says field
school.
and tennis courts, but there are no tennis courts at middle school.
Yeah,
Well, that's just
Yeah.
our form. That's our
just the
form.
form. So on the football, the select rock hoppers, they want it for some March dates. They want it April 5th, 6th, and 7th, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 6 to 8. So that's a conflict. And then April, the 12th, 13th, and 14th is a conflict. So unless maybe BMYSO can use the elementary fields or something, I don't know what they're, but it's definitely not, it's definitely at the same time.
Parks and Rec has told BMYSO that the fields at the complex are not available for use yet. So I know that's what's driving this request. I don't know if it's possible to approve it for the nights that don't conflict, because football has asked for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. If we can at least give soccer Monday and Friday.
Yeah,
I
that's why I made the motion to approve it, providing, that it's not, there is no conflict on the days there are conflict. We wouldn't
Or
be
even if
able
they
to-
want, if soccer wants the field from 5 to 6, football then has it 6 to 8.
Yeah.
I think they're looking for any place they can get the teams practicing since games start. this
so
coming Saturday.
I will have Scott reach out to both organizations and confirm and make sure that we have something arranged with them.
Yeah, because their first request is this week, so I'm wondering if they're
Yeah,
working
right.
it out on their own before.
They had a couple teams, I think, that tried to practice at Millville Elementary, and then when the rain was coming towards the end of the week, the teams all got canceled.
Oh yeah, the rain anyway.
But that field would be open, right, Millville?
Yeah, I don't know if it was big enough
Mm.
for a lot of teams.
Not sure.
So do we make the motion for the Monday and the Friday?
I say we
No,
make the
I
motion.
still would make the motion to approve the request,
As it can be filled in.
subject to any conflicts, because like somebody said, they could have it from 5 to 6 if the other group doesn't start till 6. I mean, it's just that the schedule has to be worked out, but we can't take one that we already promised away from to do a new one.
Correct.
I'll
I
second
the
Jane's.
Availability.
So motion made by Jane to approve as it can be fit in. Is there a second?
Dan did already
Yep.
second.
And so motion made by Jane and second by Dan. Any other discussion or question? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? And any abstentions?
Chuck had it on.
That's unanimous.
And just to reiterate, I just reached out to Scott and I let him know that it appears that we have a conflict here and that he and I will discuss it tomorrow and we'll make sure that we resolve it and reach out to the organizations right away.
Yeah, if I can just jump in on that. My sense is they've already worked this out because Tanya's approved it. They have the master calendar. And so if you recall, one of the other requests we had, it was just it was the basketball league. They asked for, every date, every time, and just said, we want to blanket it, but we'll build the schedule and fit it in where we can. If I recall this request correctly, I think this was the same thing. It was that same idea we want to ask for, and then we'll kind of work out, Tara, kind of what you were saying, like they'd work out a schedule that would, even if it was just to grab some, an hour on the front end or the back end, they were trying to get some field time. So I think at the end of the day, the conflict was known. I think they're just going to work the schedule out. But we can take a deeper look, as Matt
Yeah,
mentioned.
that master calendar has been really helpful for all of the building admin assistants. And as I said, they check the calendars, they confirm with the administrators in the buildings. So to Jason's point, hopefully it already has been resolved, but we will make sure tomorrow that we check up on it.
Thank you.
All right, perfect. So moving on and hopefully closing out this meeting, we have school committee forum. Does anyone want to speak, Jane? Or if you could save my voice, I'd appreciate it.
So, hello, everyone. And I imagine that perhaps there might be someone out in the world, maybe not too many people, but wondering why I am still on the committee. So when there are people serving on a committee and serving their terms, and there is an election, if no one is elected through that process, or the person who was written in with the most votes, and it only goes to the person with the most votes, not the second, third, or fourth vote getters, and that person declines, that is considered a failure to elect. It has happened once in Blackstone, and now it has happened in Millville. The person with the most votes chose not to take the position. And so with a failure to elect, the person who is in the position currently has the option to remain in that position until a replacement can be found, which means the town of Millville has the responsibility with the remaining members of the Millville School Committee to try to seek out people to hold that position. And they have done that at the Millville meeting. They announced it. We're announcing it here tonight, but there are people interested in serving on the school committee. There are actually 2 vacancies, one for Amanda's position, which would run until next year's election, and one for my position, which would also run for a year till next year. And so next year there will be 3 school committee positions on the ballot in the town of Millville. One will be for a 4-year term, one will be for a 3-year term, and one will be for, I don't know, was Amanda, I think it would be a 2-year term. So if people are interested, and I think it's really important that we all go out and try to recruit people, I think it's only fair to the administration and our communities that we have full school committee. And so that is why I have elected to stay until a replacement can be found. I don't think it's fair to the Millville community not to have fair representation on the board. And also it's not fair to Aaron and Tara to absolutely have to come regardless of how they're feeling, because otherwise we don't have a quorum and we can't run a meeting. And so I will continue doing the best that I can. And happy to do so until a replacement can be found. And they're looking to do that at the meeting on May 2nd. So please, if you do have interest, please reach out to Jennifer Gill, selectman3@millvillema.org. Express your interest and hopefully get appointed to the school committee for a year. It's a wonderful experience.
Thank you, Jane. That's a lot of important information. So I think it's important that we as a committee keep sharing that. And I will follow up with Jennifer Gill to see where she stands with any activity on that. Are there any other pieces for committee forum?
I just wanted to welcome the new members. Welcome aboard. Call or text anytime if you have any questions. We're all
I
happy to
second
help.
that. It's always good to have new and new members, and any questions, we're definitely all eager to work together and keep the work moving forward. I think, Dan, you were going to say something too.
Yes, I was. I've worked with all the sitting board members and the superintendent, and the assistant superintendent in the past, and it was always a positive experience working with you guys, even though we've gone through some tough times. And I look forward to serving with you folks as to help in any way I can better the district. And that's pretty much all I have right now. I had a big, long farewell speech to Jane prepared. But I guess I'll save those comments for when she makes her final exit. And I was pleasantly surprised to see you on the screen this evening.
Oh,
And I look forward to working with everybody. And I look forward to the challenging of learning more on our school district that I do love dearly. So thank you.
thanks, Dan.
Well, Dan, you've always been very supportive from your other seats, so we're definitely happy to have you here. And Jane, we're not getting you another cake, just so you know.
But I do appreciate the first one and the thank you and the very, very, very kind gifts from
We
everyone.
appreciate your time spent. So, any other committee forum? I'm going to move this on as I quickly lose my voice here. I just want another reminder for the empty bowl next Wednesday at the BMR High School, put on by our National Honor Society.
Does anyone have a child that I can get a ticket from?
Yes, Jane. Yes, I do.
Oh,
Carrie
okay,
does.
Aaron, I would like a ticket, please.
Sure.
Okay.
Would you like her to hand deliver that to you?
I can come to her.
Okay. It's 4:30 on the 13th at BMR. I think 4:30 to 6:30, right, Carrie? Okay. Okay, and our next school committee meeting is April 26th at 6 p.m. at the middle school. I think we all hope we're in person again. And
April 28th, Erin.
did I say the 26th?
Yeah.
Where I got that from? April 28th, 6 p.m. And May 12th, 6 p.m. as well. Are there any other, Jason or Matt, any other town committee meetings, subcommittee meetings that we need to update on before those
It's
dates?
this time.
Okay. Tara, for capital? No, okay. All right, and I'll be looking for a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting.
So
So
moved.
moved. Second.
All right. Second.
Motion made by everyone, and I'll do second by Dan. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, have a good night, everybody. Thank you very much.